Hello, I'm Lady Calamere. I welcome you to my channel. I am doing my 385th video, and it will be on the Slavic goddess Devana. I think she's called Devana. Sorry, I can't pronounce it right. Giovanna, but Devana. Who is she? And what is she? Oh, she's a goddess, and people have compared her to the goddess Diana and Artemis. So Devana, and that's how I'm going to pronounce her because I don't want to keep butchering her name. She is a goddess of feminine powers, women's rights, a woman's sovereignty over her body, over her mind, and over her own spirit. She's a woman unto her own. She's a role model to women who are truly free or who truly want to be free. She's a role model for those women who are living in patriarchal prisons in a way. She's a goddess of freedom. She's a wild goddess. She will not conform no matter what. So the Slavic people they aren't just one group of people. Okay, so you got different Slavic tribes. But traditionally, an unmarried woman is supposed to have her hair braided. She refuses to do that. She refused to take on a traditional feminine role. She will dress sort of like a man or her wild outfits and her wild garments. She will hunt. She will run through the forest. She refused to get married until it was forced on her. We'll get on to that. But she refused to conform. She was a non-conformist. She is a proud woman. Wild and free, does whatever the fuck she wants. So I did the way she's spelled, it could be spelled Devana, but the other way, well, I can't pronounce it, is Dziewanna. And I've heard it spoken, but I just can't pronounce it. And I'm so sorry. And I really apologized. So she's definitely one for International Women's Day. And her flower is the yellow mullein flower. But before I go on, I must give credit where credit is due. I'm getting ahead of myself. So this lovely oracle card, I mean, it's lovely, isn't it? And it definitely captures who she is and what she deals with. The back's all Inspirational Goddesses Oracle by Riccardo Minetti and Ariana Faricella or Faricella. I don't know which way to pronounce it. And it's by Lo Scarabeo, owned by now Llewellyn. So you can get this on Llewellyn's website, Amazon, or your local pagan, New Age, or metaphysical store. And as we see here, this card definitely reflects her. Sometimes she holds a spear, but here she sees her traditional bow and arrow We see her hair braided as a maiden, but usually she will not braid it. She just does whatever the hell she wants. As you see at nighttime with the moon, because she does represent lunar powers, and you see the forest, which that's her domain. She likes to be wild, and then you see the sort of like Amazon woman, because she's these are the women that are wild and free and that are huntresses, and her flower is the yellow mullen. I think it's the mullen flower. I'm trying to think. What is so anyway, I believe it's the yellow mullen flower. And if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. So, and if it comes to me, just, erase it. But I believe it is. So, she is the daughter of Mokash, as we talked about, the earth goddess. And her father is the almighty Perun, the god of thunder and storms. Um, so, Perun, which I already talked about. Her brother, or her twin brother, is Jarilo, and some call him twin brother. He's called Jarvio. I'm sorry, Jarilo, Jarilo, and Gervorit, I believe. So, anyways, Devana is rebellious. She is said to be. She rides horses. She's independent. Her symbol, of course, is one of the symbols of our animals is a mare, but she's also uh, dealing with wild animals, including foxes and wolves. So the canine deals with her. So Perun believed that his rebellious, arrogant, childish daughter would grow out of what she's doing, but she doesn't. She doubles down on what she does. And she deliberately tells her father, I'm not going to toe the line. I'm going to dance to the beat of my own drum. So, regardless, there eventually Perun laid down the law. She pretty much gave her divine middle finger to him. And there's Perun decided enough's enough. This is crazy. She needs to really, get married, be a mother, do her traditional role as a goddess, like her mother, the earth goddess. So Perun basically found her in the woods, doing the things that she loved to do, and he screamed and roared so loud that her wolves and her animal allies fled. So Devana said, "Oh no, you didn't. You know what? I've had enough of you being an overbearing father, because that's what you have become." So then there was a war. There was a fight between them. She was riding her mare, shooting her arrows, and sometimes fighting with her spear, and she charged at her father. They got into a fight, but he proved too strong for her. So she did what she needed to do. She retreated. She shapeshifted, and that's what she does. She shapeshifts. She turned herself into a lioness. But Perun transformed into a form and beat her, matched her. Then again, she transformed herself into a bird. And this kind of reminds me of the story of Loki and Thor, but Loki and Thor, but they're not the same. But she turned herself into a bird. Then Perun basically turned himself into an eagle, caught her in his talons. So, just like Loki, she shapeshifted herself into a fish. But she slipped from her grasp. Perun called Makosh to catch her, and Makosh got her fishing net and caught her and trapped her. Her rebellion was over, and some say she actually tried to take over Perun's position. Maybe she did. Maybe she just had enough of it because Perun was just being overbearing. Either way, the rebellion was over. So, as punishment, Perun forced his daughter to marry Velis. And Velis is okay. Velis and Perun always fight every year. There's always a clash. Perun does not like Velis, and Velis does not like Perun. So, as he saw this, maybe as an alliance to punish his daughter or as an alliance, whatever. The alliance didn't work, of course, but he punished her and made her marry against her will to Velis. Now, Velis, I'll get Velis down. Velis becomes her husband. Now, Velis really thought Devana was interesting. He liked her wild spirit. He's like, she's wild like me. So this is my statue of Velis. And you can see here, he's really into nature and the animals, the underworld. He's really into shapeshifting and magic and sorcery. He's into all that. And he accepted the marriage, even though she didn't want to. But he didn't force himself on her. He never took advantage of her. And the way he became was turned himself into a pretty basil flower. To basically woo her. So he changes himself into a basil flower to soothe her soul. Now there's stories saying they're not in love, but they're a pretty they work together as a good pair. And there's I I know Velis most likely really does love her and respects her. He did not force her. He did not stop her for doing what she wants to do. He didn't say, you can't hunt anymore. You can't. He's like, do what you want, babe. Whether she would be able to overpower, maybe. But he was like, be you. Be who you are. Do what you want. We're married. I think you're hot. You're beautiful. I really like you. Probably loves her. But she's interested in being a maiden. She's interested in frolicking around and being with her animals, doing her wild hunt, and protecting animals. Even though she protects animals, she also deals with hunt. And we'll get into that. But he respects her so much. He didn't tell her to change. All they have is a marriage forced upon her by Perun, her father. So isn't that cool? I mean, where do you really happen to hear that in a lot of mythologies? Where it's like, yeah, we're married, but you do what you want. I don't care. I'm not going to fight it either way. He did not try to fight her. He did not try to manipulate her. He did not try to bribe her to do what he wants. He said, do what you want. Oh, you did. Maybe also that was to piss off Perun, his enemy, but also I think it was really out of respect for her. and probably a little bit to piss off Perun too. They're enemies. They don't get along. Nah, they don't like each other. Anyways, she deals with the untamed parts of nature and the woods, uh, the w- the wild behaviors, and Vella's dealt a lot with nature as well and animals and the wilderness and wild behaviors. Things that piss off Perun. Where Perun deals with order, she's like, I'll do whatever the hell I want. It's not about being chaos. Like Bella's gonna be chaos. But she just does whatever the hell she wants. Now, also another thing that she deals with is plants and flowers. Plants and flowers. I think I gotta close this window because I hear a dog barking. Yeah, does that scare you, Boo? Oh, okay. Let's close that window. I don't think you're scared. You're not showing me that you're scared. You just want attention. So she deals with caring of animals. And when it comes time to hunt, people would ask Devana for help. But you hunt for what you need, for what you're going to use. It's it's not about hunting an animal to extinction. It's not about capturing an animal and torturing it. It's not about just hunting the animal just for its head or just trophy hunting. This was hunting food to get the animal to use for tools, to make uh, pelts and blankets and clothing and coats, to basically use as much, if not everything, pretty much everything back then was used of the animal. So it was done out of respect. You don't take more than what you need. And to let animals to remote multiply, a balance in nature. So, and it's always respectful to give Zavana her due when you asked for her to help. So yes, she does help hunt, but people hunt, but she also protects the animals. She could be used to call to protect the animals from overhunting and from extinction. And we got Lady Boss here covering up the card because hey, it's all about her, right? It's all about my cat, Lady Boss. Devana doesn't mind. Devana would love her so much. Yeah. So Devana is basically the middle finger to the patriarchy. She's matriarchal. All right. So Devana is pretty much considered the spring goddess, where she's the opposite of Marzana or Morana. So Marzana is the winter. And I already explained about her. She deals with winter, cold, death, turning of the leaves and trees being bare. Where the Devana, Yeshvana, deals with flowers, nature, trees, the trees being full with fruits and flowers and pollen season where the pollen comes off the trees so that more trees can sprout. So among modern feminists, especially in Slavic areas and Slavic people, Devana has become very popular because she represents freedom and against social norms for women's roles. That men can also do the dishes and vacuum and mop. You know that they can also do that. They can also work a dishwasher. Where instead of women just doing clean cooking and cleaning and taking care of the children, they become lawyers, doctors. They could become teachers, or they can choose to be a stay-at-home mom. They can make that choice, or they can work from home and still be a stay-at-home mom and be a career woman. Women can join the military and boxing and be a boxer or be a martial, mixed martial artist, go into the MMA and wrestling. So again, it's independence, woman's voice, and woman's choice to have control over their body, mind, and spirit. Devana will not take a traditional role like her mother did, Mokash, and like other goddesses did. She does not. She defies her father's will. She's a symbol of be who you are, not who others want you to be. Maybe you're a woman and everyone wants you to be a doctor. Well, maybe you want to be a lawyer, or everyone's a lawyer, and you decide, well, I want to open my own business. To be free to travel. To maybe you're the first woman to have a child out of wedlock. Maybe you never want to get married. She's also a symbol for lesbians. Tradition. We're supposed to, like, a woman's supposed to be with a man. Maybe you want to be with a woman. Because maybe your family said, look, it's man and woman, woman and man. Surprise, mom and dad, I'm a lesbian. Or I'm bisexual. So she deals with that, especially with lesbians. So she's popular with that. She's usually represented as a beautiful young maiden with usually golden hair, but sometimes brown, long hair. Now she could have a fox or a wolf at her side. Now some people like to pair a dog, a hunting hound, with her, because to make her more look like Artemis or Diana, in which you can use a Diana or Artemis statue to represent her. She's also like Abnoba, and I did a presentation on that. So she sometimes wears like dressing like this, or she wears pelts of she wears pelts of animals that she has hunted, like a bear. So she sometimes wears a crown of antlers on her head, comparing her again, traditional role of her saying, I'm the antlered one, like the antlered gods, and she's, look at me, I'm sporting antlers. I'm not supposed to be doing that, but I'm doing it. She'll wear a crown of antlers on her head. Again, showing her rebellious and prideful nature. She typically is seen with bows and arrows. Sometimes she's seen with a spear. They're usually bows and arrows. She's considered a friend to humans, so she is approachable, especially women. She's more approachable and friendlier to women. So she's gonna connect with women better than she does with men. I'm not saying she doesn't connect well with men. She connects better with women than she does men. So her fight, her skills at fighting is awesome. She knows how to do combat, and she will fight when she needs to. She's not going to fight just to start a war. Yes, she warred with her father, and maybe there's stories where some stories, depending on where you're at, maybe want to overthrow her father. And it wasn't about grabbing power. It was about being free and being able to do what she wants. She will not conform. She is the nonconformist spirit. She's not like a vegetarian version of a hippie either. She's going to hunt. So, yeah, there's that. So she's not a vegan, she's not a vegetarian. She's going to be dealing with, she's not the moon. She deals with the moon. She's lunar, yes, but she's not necessarily the moon itself. So it believes that her name comes for like maiden, and which in the form of the goddess, I would definitely put her on maiden, but as for warrior, I would put her as huntress. Definitely a huntress. Her name also suggests as young woman, girl, or maiden, or even virgin. And I don't know if Velis consummated his relationship with Devana, but still she remains herself as unto herself. If someone knows about if Velis ever consummated with her, of course it would be with her permission, let me know. How long have that? Wow, I feel like I only did this for 7 minutes. So I'm not gonna say she's the same thing as Diana or Diana, or she would be more like the Roman version of Diana, not so much. Well, the Strega. The Roman version is also part of Strega area. We know in Strega area, uh, she deals with witchcraft, and I have no doubt in my mind, though, the Devana deals with that, with religions that defy the patriarchy. Uh, Witchcraft where women have a say or women have and I would definitely say like Dianic. I mean, the original Dianics did have men in it, but later on it just became all women. You can look that up. Literally look that up. At one time, men were in it. I, I don't know if there's any more Dianics that have men in it, but they were not. They did would not like. They did not have the power that a woman has in the religion. Maybe in everyday life, yes, but when it came into circle, no. But Dianics have now been just women. So can men pray to Devana? Yes, men have prayed to Devana in the past, and they will continue to pray to Devana and ask for their help in hunting and stuff. So she's not off limits to men. So if this makes any sense. So she's going to be dealing with religions and spiritualities and traditions that uplift women, even to the point of where it's more matriarchal than patriarchal. So there may be some imbalance where the woman will have the ultimate say. I'm not saying it's like imbalance, but there's some traditions where there is no men. So she's a protector of women and children, especially girls. So she's going to reject any religion that objectify and subjugate women. So she's not crazy about Christianity, Islam, or any other religion that says women are lower than a man. It doesn't work with her. Um, yes, it is. I keep the only flower that keeps coming up is yellow mullein flower. So, and again, I this just shows I'm not coming in here with writing of notes and scripts. So eventually, the yellow mullein flower became the braid of Virgin Mary, and the Christians took the flower and said, "Oh, it belongs to the Holy Blessed Virgin Mother." So it became the braid of the Virgin Mary. So now Devana was replaced during when the Catholics took over, Our Lady of the Thunder Candle. Ooh, the Thunder Candle. Still associated with Perun, right? The Thunder God. And it's believed that on February nights, she walks on February nights and protects the crops, the fields, the agriculture from freezing, and depicts her with a wolf or a pack of wolves that she protected and that she protects them, and that I don't really know too much about this. I know that she also protects people from wolves, and she also protects from people from lightning strikes and their homes from lightning strikes and from evil spirits. So yeah, Our Lady of the Thunder Castle kind of sounds cool. Would be a cool metal band, wouldn't it? Our Lady of the Thunder Castle. Anyways, trying to think what else I want to say about Devon Devana. So definitely doing things that could be considered a no-no would be her thing of to show that ye are free. You shall be skyclad in your rights. And skyclad means clad only by the sky. I'll leave it at that. And that she believes women could do whatever they want. I'm not talking about breaking the law. I'm just saying she has nothing against lesbian or bisexual. I mean, hey, as long as you're not doing something against someone's will and you're not messing with children, you leave children the hell alone when it comes to things of that nature. Have fun. As long as you're not hurting anyone, right? She's really one for the free spirit and for men to also be free because men have also been subjugated by the patriarchy. And some men said it was just too smothering. And they said, as much as I smothered, I could just see how the women feel, you know. So for the men that want to also be free, yearn to be free, and the woman and to feel their feminine spirits, and she's against. She would. I don't think she would have any problem with a woman wanting to be a man, woman transitioning to a man, and a man transitioning to a woman. I mean, it's pretty much to the patriarchy, right? A big old middle finger. So yes, she's a goddess that was also demonized as a naughty, disgusting woman. How dare you not bow to the male? So yeah, they had to eventually Christianize her. You know why. So she represents precision and strength. She represents the ability to provide for herself and others. She has a mystical aspects and connections to the wilderness of nature and being wild and knowing what to do in the wild. She's a provider, but she's also a warrior when she needs to be. She's considered the guardian of the woods and forests. She helps one to live in harmony with the environment and the world around us and nature, to find a balance between predator and prey. She represents primal nature, primal behavior. You know that song, Back to the Primitive, fuck all your politics. We've got our own lives to lead. Trying to think of that song. See, it's called Back to the Primitive. Max Cavalera, love him. So she represents the fluidity between human beings and animals and nature, and to be able to adapt and survive with nature. So she doesn't have a problem with Velis. She doesn't hate Velis. There's a respect there. So when you look at it, it could have been a whole lot worse, but it wasn't. So there's definitely a respect there. I'm just trying to think what else to talk about her. Uh, I'm I'm looking at little boo. Come on, little boo, little boo. She doesn't want to come up here. I think I'm gonna be ending this soon, but I'm just trying to think what else, and I'm trying to get so to what you offer to Devana game meat. You don't have to hunt for her. You can get something from the grocery store: chicken, uh, Cornish game hen, boar meat, venison, things from your garden, a nice fire or a candle. Chocolates can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with some things like wine or champagne or mead. You can't go wrong with, offering her a beef stew or soups. You can't go wrong with offering her bread, water, sweet things, sweet candies, and things like honey that comes from nature, honey cakes, ale. And she'll even accept the beer. So, just trying to think what else. Of course, yellow mullein flowers. Um, just trying to think what else you can offer her. She loves flowers. Another thing, basil flower, because of how Velis came to her. So basil flowers. She loves flowers in general. Flowers, you can't go wrong with any floral oils or perfumes or essences, like even basil, even the basil leaves. You can't go wrong with that. So you want to have things that represent the spring because she's definitely a goddess that arises in springs. And if you can't have fresh flowers because of your cats, you can always have nice fake flowers to put on your altar and just explain, listen, I got to protect my cats, because some flowers can be very deadly to your cats, especially like Easter lilies. And I know people get Easter lilies at this time. Let me tell you something, it's toxic. Anyways, I think they're pretty, but they make me the allergies. Bleh. I don't feel right around them. I get all like chewy with them. So yeah. So if you like Easter lilies, keep them away where your cats can't get them. Trust me, it'll kill them. It can make them very sick or kill them. Stones that represent her, and of course, silver would represent her. Moonstone, quartz, um, possibly selenite. Colors for her would be like greens, browns, colors of the forest, and floral arrangement. Her elements that she's going to deal with, the element is earth. Uh, Another flowers that she deals with. So what? Yellow mullein, basil flower, basil, willow tree, mugwort, hazel tree, and I believe wolfsbane too. So a little grove is perfect for her. Maybe something like Central Park or something like that would be a good idea. I'm sure you you know about Central Park. A lot of people even across the world knows where it is. Central Park or just a little park or a nature reserve. Yellowstone Park, think about that. That's also a good place for her. The Redwood Forest in California. It's a good idea for her. So fruits and foods that grow in the forest is also a good idea for her to put on her altar. Crab trees, crab apples. So, anyways, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about Devana. So, have you ever heard of her? Have you ever worked with her? What do you think of her? She's pretty interesting, huh? So, anyways, um, I want to thank you for watching this. Please do not go and buy dyed baby chicks. Look at how they're dyed. And then they're only kept as babies and then discarded. Same thing with the Easter bunny, giving someone an Easter hare or rabbit, and then when they're no longer wanted, discard it. And definitely not one of those dyed bunnies where they stick them and dye. It's a horrible process. And by the way, if you do get a rabbit as a pet, I'm going to explain this as vet tech here. Rabbit pellets are not meant to be the main diet. That's only given for rabbits that are bred for food to make them fat because it makes them fat. That should only be like a small part of the diet or as a treat. They need to eat like leafy greens and carrots and other things. They need things to chew on for their teeth because their teeth or have open apices where they'll keep growing and growing and growing. So they need something to gnaw. They do not deserve to be locked up in a cage 24/7 as your pet. They can be trained to use a certain type of litter box. You'll have to figure out, you'll have to talk to someone to train them. They do need to be spayed and neutered because if you get a male and female, they will breed and breed and breed and breed and breed and breed and breed. You ever hear the term as screw like rabbits? Yeah, uh, trust me. And they also need to be dewormed. They do get worms, and they do need to see a vet. So they're not to be discarded, taken, and thrown out into the wild because what you're doing is they've never been wild before if they were pets, and they're not going to know about predators and stuff. They're cooked. It's like a death sentence for them. So rabbit is a responsibility. I just want to throw that out there. And please do not declaw your cat. It's awful. Anyways, thank you for watching. Uh, as always, blessed be.